Well, good morning everybody. Welcome back to Shutters and Speed. Today you join me on the outward trip out of Downham Market here, and we're going to be making our way out and we're going to be testing out two different bits of kit. So, as we thread our way out of Downham Market, I think the best thing to do is to, as we say here in Norfolk, run them their titles, boy. Yeah, so welcome back to Shutters and Speed. Yeah, today we're trying out two different things really. One of which is my new drone that I've just purchased. It's a DJI Flip, but more about that later. And we're also trying out a new camera setup on the bike. Now, as many regular viewers of this channel will know, I do like tinkering with cameras and their various positions and so forth, and this is probably no exception in as much as I'm trying something a bit different. I had a bit of a criticism, if truth be told, by one of the in one of the comments of one of my recent videos about how the dark screen here in cockpit view is a bit not quite so good to look at, shall we say. I've got my main forward-facing camera fixed to the front of my screen, so we're just getting the view forward, as it were, and a different camera, which is pointing at me that I'm looking at you now with, as it were. And of course, the camera that is pointing at me also has a microphone attached, so that is operating wirelessly via my DJI mic from the microphone in my helmet to the camera. So it's all pretty pretty sort of new stuff, and I'll be very interested obviously to see how that works. And so hopefully later on I'll give you after you've had a look at the footage, I shall give you a sort of a rundown as to how I felt it went, and whether I shall be using that permanently in the future. So that's the one thing that we're out testing today. And the other thing, of course, is the DJI Flip drone. Now, I think the best thing to do is to head on back to the studio and have a look at this thing in a bit of detail. Yes, so here we are indeed in the studio, and here indeed is the DJI Flip drone that I've just purchased. Now, I bought this as a kit and it cost me around £650, and I got the for that money I got the Flip with the drone itself. I got a charging bank with 2 extra batteries. I also got the RC2 controller, which has a built-in screen, which is very useful. And it also came with its own little carry bag, which is obviously great. Inside there are spare propellers and so forth to keep me going, so to speak. Now, I won't go into too much, intricate detail about how this works. There are countless videos online from various people who are far more qualified than me to go through the intricacies of how this works. But I will just show you briefly what happens. Basically, it's a unique design in as much as it's got this sort of guarded propeller thing, and you just unfold the props, as it were, and it's ready and up and running and good to go. You probably heard that beep. So when you open the propellers, it powers the thing up, and it's good to go. And the great thing about this compared to the Mini 4 Pro, which is one I also considered, is the fact that it's able to do stuff with the app on your phone, and you're able to record audio as well as obviously the video footage. So it's quite useful, almost as a personal cameraman, that to have with you, that you can put up and take a shot of you to camera and everything is hunky-dory. So let's just have a look at a few examples of what I mean. And the first one we're going to look at is when it's up in the air using the controller, and it's following me on my motorcycle, which proves to be quite effective. Now, The thing with this one is, compared to the Mini 4 Pro, is that the active track system on the controller is only really meant to follow people and not vehicles. But I've found that on a push bike or a motorcycle, if you're lucky and it tracks you as a person, it will keep up with you up to about 20 miles an hour. So that's quite useful if you want to record a piece to camera and you're out in the middle of nowhere, and obviously it's safe to do so. So let's have a look at some of that and see how it works out. Yeah, so here we are out in the field. We're setting up the active track to track me from behind on the RC2 controller. I'm making sure everything is set up, and I can just leave the controller where it is. The drone will sort of get in position, I'll get on the bike, and off we'll go. The only problem, of course, with this method is it is probably the more reliable method, but I don't have the ability to record the audio from my microphone either in my helmet or with my Cardo Pack Talk, which we'll go into a bit later. But it does indeed actually follow me quite successfully, as you can see, and I can get up to about 20 miles an hour or so, and I get this quite interesting sort of follow me shot, which is proven to be very useful in certain circumstances, and I can see that this will be very useful to me when and if I want to be out in the middle of nowhere and I'm in a scenic position, and I can just take a shot like this and just send the thing up in the air and off we go. Yeah, so I hope you found that useful. That was quite interesting. I find that that was quite reliable and worked quite successfully. Now we went in, the next clip we're going to see is a section where I'm trying to do a section to camera from the front. Now that was a little bit more challenging, it has to be said, and I think the fact that I was not that visible to the camera or to the drone, as it were, made it a bit more difficult to achieve this shot, but we got there in the end, as I hope you'll now see. So let's get back out in the field and I'll show you how that went. So it's following me on the bike from the forward position, and is actually doing quite a good job. We've managed to get it to track me. I'm riding along at a reasonable pace, and I can actually do a piece to camera like this quite successfully, and it's actually going quite nicely, which is really good. So I can keep looking at you on the screen. It's now lost me, but you know, you can see how you can do quite a nice piece to camera without any real problems. And here it comes back again. It's sweeping round, giving me a look, and it's great. Yeah, so after a bit of faffing around, we finally got the shot that we was after. It wasn't perfect, and that'll probably need a bit of fine-tuning and a bit of working on, as it were, but it'll still be quite useful to have that piece of machinery, if you like, in my armoury, so that if I'm out and I want to do a piece to camera in that manner, I can still do it. I mean, as ever with whenever you're making vlogs or videos, you know, there's always a certain amount of faff and a certain amount of failures, as it were, unfortunately. But I think as you go along, you polish your technique and things will work out okay. So, you know, the fact that I can record pieces like this to camera using either my Cardo Pack Talk Edge microphone in the helmet, or indeed my DJI mic as well, which we'll now go into right now, of course, because I just wanted to finish by showing you a piece to camera where I'm doing an ending, say, and I'm framing my shot manually using the app on my phone to position the camera precisely, and we get the shot that we're after. So let's have a look at that. Yeah, so here we are out and about with the DJI Flip in the middle of nowhere, and I'm using it as my own personal cameraman. Now there is several automated modes, more of which later, but the one we're interested in at the moment is what is known as Spotlight. Now I've used that quite successfully in recent times with some other stuff that I've done, but for this situation I find that manual control is the best way forward, because I can actually record the audio on the app on the phone here, and also frame my shot how I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just that. I'm going to frame my shot. So I'm just going to move the drone over to here. I want a 3/4 view, so I'm just going to move it over there somewhere. You can't see me at the moment, but you will do shortly, because I'm just going to bring it round. We'll just go round in it. I'm going round the wrong way, but never mind. I'm going to stand in front of the motorbike here somewhere, and I'm going to stand about here, somewhere like that. I'm just going to move it over to the left slightly. No, that'll be fine. That'll be fine, actually. Just there. That's great. And then move it down. and then move it down a bit closer, and maybe a bit further back. I'm just playing around with the composition here. Maybe go up. Yep, there we go. And I might just gimbal down slightly. There we go. Right, so we've got the zoom, we've got the framing roughly where I want it to be, somewhere about there. That's almost perfect. So I've got my shot framed how I want, and then I can just put the phone down and carry on with my piece. So this is Shutters and Speed saying goodbye for now, and we'll see you in the next video. And so until next time, blah de blah de blah. Until next time, do you keep on a troshin', boy, and goodbye. And that's the end. So you know that's how it can be very useful to me in a position like this where I'm on my own and I want a nice finish to the video, and I haven't got a personal cameraman with me, obviously, so the drone is able to do this for me, which is fantastic. So with that, it's back to the studio. Yeah, so I felt that went quite well. We've managed to achieve a finish to the video, as it were. So you can see how this thing, which is something that you can put up in the air, chuck up in the air, and you know, frame things quite quickly, attach the microphone to my phone, and achieve a finishing shot quite quickly. So I should be making obviously good use of that, hopefully, in the coming months. Now, the one thing that is a bit of a problem, of course, is wind. Now, you know, you could be out in the middle of nowhere in a very windy environment, and it doesn't fly. It's okay in the wind, but obviously the calmer the conditions are, the better. So obviously that's something to look out for. But you know, in the right conditions, I can see this is going to be a very useful tool to my armoury. So hopefully you can see the merit as well. And if you're interested, then leave a few comments in the section below and let me know what you think. Now, to finish with, we'll be back on the road in a short while to finish this video off in the usual fashion. But what I'm going to do next is just show you a shot I took from a recent trip to North Norfolk of an iconic Norfolk landmark on the North Norfolk coast, which I hope you enjoy. Yeah, so that's the end of that little test. I think that went quite well. And we'll see how that performs and adds to the content that we put out this summertime. So I think we'll call a halt to proceedings here and now after this little test ride out with both the different camera bikes set up and also a little test of the DJI Flip drone to see how that works tracking me on my motorbike. So, without further ado, until next time, as we say here in Norfolk, do you keep on a troshin', boy?